All right, welcome through, welcome through, welcome through. Welcome to the chapter 13. Better late than never, huh? Yeah, we gotta keep pushing through. Today has been a long day.
I think the mic is better, but we've been having few challenges, but we keep pushing. So let me properly welcome you guys. The club is back. Yes. yes. All right. Much better. I can hear it now. Woo! Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. I wanted to use this opportunity to say thank you. All the complaints have been duly noted, protocols duly observed, but this is something that we're not in pursuit of perfection, we're just in pursuit of growth. We're in pursuit of growth, and it's not going to happen overnight. We all know that, and we're tired of waiting for everything to be perfect before we put ourselves out there. So for anybody that's having a hard time understanding what I'm saying, it's gonna get developed. This is the research and development, and I choose to let everybody to be part of it before I start writing and getting the full scripts done and put there. So this is an opportunity to just get the ammos in. All right. That being said, all right. As we know, our tradition is all right. As we know, we go through our memory verses that we always talk about. So first of all, we start with Psalm 147 verse 3. At this point, we already know God healed the broken heart and he binds our wounds. Romans 8, we've been led by the Spirit, and that's what gives us the right to be called the children of God. And 15 is also talking about giving us not just the right. Is it better? All right. I brought my mic a little closer to me so that we don't have no issues like yesterday. All right. So we talked about that is giving us the right to be called the sons of God. And Proverbs 10:9 is also talking about the integrity keeps you straight and crooked ways will get you found out. Hebrews 5:14 is talking about discernment, solid food. And the reason why we're doing these memory verses more than anything is to be able to understand and use so that we're not just Bible thumpers. We know the scriptures, but we don't know how to apply it. We don't know how to apply it in prayers, especially in prayers, but we're planting it in our hearts so that we can be able to use them when memories of if we're faced with a challenge, with fear, we're faced with a challenge of unwanted, we're faced with the challenge of broken heart or broken spirit, it can automatically just rise within our spirit and fight those battles. So that's the most important thing while we're putting this memory verses in our heart and applying them the way with understanding. So that being said, Galatians 3:28-29 is talking about this: neither Jew or Gentile, neither free or slave, male or female, because we're all one in the body of Christ. Period. And then 10 verse 6, Matthew 10:6 is talking about we're being sent out as sheep, not as warriors. We're sent out as sheep in the midst of wolves. And then Matthew 10, that was Matthew 10:16. Zechariah 4:6, which ties back to Romans 8. It's not by spirit, it's not by might, but it's not by power, it's not by might, but by my spirit, says the Lord. So that, clock it. And then John 10:27 is like, my sheep hears my voice and I know them and they follow me. And yesterday we talked about Galatians 1:10, which is talking about Paul was not there to impress man. And I think I'm going to correct that, because I said Paul was a Gentile. Paul was a Jew, and he has Roman citizenship too. I think, yeah, he has Roman citizenship, and that's with the correction. But yeah, he was talking about how he got his revelation straight from Christ himself. And if he's not trying to impress men, because if he's trying to impress men, he would not be a follower of Christ, because follower of Christ cost him a lot, cost him imprisonment, cost him shipwreck, snake bites, he was sick, he was hungry, he was imprisoned. Like, there's so much that he went through for the gospel. So it's not, and most of the letters he wrote was in jail. They were transferring from one jail to another, and he was walking, So those are the memory verses for today. And today, okay, we got it. All right, we're moving on to the next phase of our development. All right. Okay. Which is, I had to put this on day 13. I didn't want the 13th day to go without actually putting it out there. So it's important. All right, put it in the chart. Today's topic is Sabbath in the system, the rest as a rebellion. So everybody put 227. Always catch this. Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So at the end of this, you see how important Sabbath is. You see how important rest is. You see how important, taking a vacation, taking a breather, because our culture did not teach this enough. And, I'm guilty as charged of this. So, let's get let me get my Bible. Let me get my Bible. Let me get my Bible. Where is my Bible? Mark 2:27. Very important. Once you feel overworked, remember this verse. Remember this. Let this verse just pop out in your mind when you're doing too much, when you're covering shifts, when you're exhausted. Then he said to them, Sabbath was made for man, not man for Sabbath. For the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. So this is how important this Sabbath is. This is not something that we can ignore. So if you're joining us again, welcome to the band of survivors. People also have asked questions. Survivors of what? Survivors of life. Survivors as a child of God. We know that once you're Christ ambassador, what you're going to go through. If nobody told you, if anybody tells you that it's going to be a bed of roses and, nothing wrong with prosperity, but it's a bigger challenge. All right, let's get into our mode of research. Okay, there we go. Much better. All right, it's time to let's dig in. So welcome back, survivors. As I was talking about survivors, this is very important. This is how we develop some of the writings and how in the coming weeks we're gonna start engaging in warfare. So the reason why we start doing the memory verses is something that I want to keep learning, because the next phase of this is gonna be all prayers. So this is us getting all our artilleries ready, getting all our ammos. Make sure we're stocked up on every form of ammo that we need, and sharpening every sword and every arrow. So welcome back to Survivors. Tonight we're asking a very dangerous question as we started. What will happen if you stop trying to outrun God's rest? Think about it for a second. This is very important to me to share this, because Sabbath has always been ignored. Yeah, taking a break. We think about Sabbath and it's not Sunday. How many of you think Sabbath is Sunday? No. You still go to church on Sunday. That's not Sabbath, because Sabbath is something that you're supposed to unplug from everything. Take a break. Because all these electronics and gadgets and the runarounds, up and downs, if you can, this is something we should put in our consciousness as a group, as individuals, as a community. It should be part of our greetings. After saying, how are you? Fine. When you're checking up on one another, we should talk about when last did you take a Sabbath, sabbatical leave. When last did you take a breather? So, seriously, what will happen if you stop trying to outrun God's rest? What if infusing the grind hustle culture wasn't laziness, but rebellion? What if the Sabbath was your secret weapon? All right, right now, type rest. We're going to wait a little bit for people to get involved. Type rest, and rest emoji. Think about a question. Well, if you stay to the end, we're gonna tackle some of these questions because it's very important. I think we have everything ready now, but because to be honest, we're not born to be machines. We're born to be a miracle for one another. We're meant to be a miracle, not a machine. But the system likes schedules, deadlines, hustle, hype, performance over perish, grind or get left behind. You're gonna feel left behind. It feels like everybody's moving forward, but the system doesn't care about your soul, but the Sabbath does. The Sabbath does. Serious. The system has a way to make you feel like guilty when you're taking the Sabbath, guilty when you're taking a break, unease, because these bills really keeps you going, man. It keeps everybody going. If you're showing up for work because you want to just pay bills, know that you're in a different kind of grind. These are some of the indicators. Yeah. It has to be said, but these are some of the things that should be aware so that you walk towards it and commit it into the altar of God so that God can take that and purify you and put you in a better spot on what you're designed for. Because this whole aim is to be able to find out what really am I designed for? What really am I here to do? Because rest is not weakness. Rest is war. Yeah, it's something that you have to fight for. It's not something that the world is going to give it to you or your bosses are going to give you that break. This is something you fight for. These are something that you're going to plan to get to that point. To keep the Sabbath in a world addicted to grind is a protest with your peace. It's to tell Pharaoh, I don't belong to you anymore. So, curious to know, when you try to rest, what do you often feel like? And are you able to get it, or how does your rest look like? Is it sleeping all day? That can be another form of rest, but you can sleep all day and wake up tired. And that's not rest. That is absolutely not rest. You've not rested if that's the case. So type in the chat if you want to contribute or if you're joining us. We're talking about rest as rebellious. This call us rebels at this point. 227 rebels. We are the 227 rebels. I like that. Yeah. So how does your rest look like? And if you want to share, put it in the chat, put it in the contact. Uh-oh. I think the audio is much better today, right? It should be. Now it's gonna get some Holy Ghost fire. Yeah. So the rebellion of rest. We're gonna go straight to the next segment. From Egypt to the Wall Street, system always wants slaves. Slaves don't get Sabbath. Only free people do. Slaves don't get PTOs. Only free people do. PTOs are good, especially, take full advantage of it. Yeah, don't be like some people that didn't. But yeah, take full advantage of it. It's a form of rebellion, and it's something that we're gonna push the government. We have to push in the system. We have to include it in the system because the system is trying to take it away from us and put you on the grind mode 247. For you to get ahead. This is how they gaslight you. Like, oh, this is the way you get ahead. And it just takes a couple of tries. It takes a couple of you missing some bills and seeing how the collectors treat you. Like, then, then you've already done the job. Now you're shaped, you're fully formed. And to be sad for you to recognize this late. Because this system, the systems around the world, they're designed not to give you any kind of rest or break. Not break, they can give you a break, but Sabbath. So, in our next prayer form, we're gonna pray on how. And any of you that is a business owner here, these are parts of things that you need to incorporate in your business, so that you can be able to help. When to help grow a better society. It's going to start from us. The future of this world is in the mouth of the believers. Yeah. So when God commanded Israel to rest, he wasn't saying, you're not slaves anymore. You are mine. That's what God is saying. You are mine. And we already know he is the Father. To Sabbath is to say, I trust God. When you're taking your Sabbath is to be able to say, I trust God who holds the universe without anxiety, who knows that all my needs are met. My needs are met not through my employees, but employer. Not through my employees or my employer, but my needs are met through the throne. It flows from the throne. It comes from the King himself. And to Sabbath is to say that I don't save myself because I didn't create myself. I didn't put myself into this world. I mean, my parents helped in getting me here, but ultimately, I'm here for a reason, a divine purpose, a divine reason. I didn't save myself, Jesus did. He purchased it by blood. So Sabbath is not legalism, it is liberation. It is liberation. Yeah, it's really important that, I'm sharing this. I'm really happy, and I'm happy that I'm finally documenting it and I'm walking through the grind. But the main thing is that the purpose of what we do and how we do things, So, fam, this is coming. So the question here is, what is harder, saying no to work or saying yes to rest? I know, saying yes to rest, because to be honest, this is something that I gotta keep defining until I get to a spot where I can say, because rest to me is really by the lake. just drying up and just being away from any form of chaos or connection to anything, and just, you know, thanking God, being in that rhythm. There's nothing like it. So I think, but you know, it still has to be defined fully well. This is something that, and right now I know I got this message to add the breathing methods that we started day 1, day 2 with. Everybody saying that it went away, and I filled it up with memory verses. So it is back now. So let's practice this. Open your palms, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, and exhale for 6 seconds. Can we do it? Just to get our rest rhythm, our heart rate, and get us into a prayer form and just release it. All right, so palms up, breathe in. Just one. Do it for a second time. Breathe in. Third one. Breathe in. Now say softly, I'm not defined by my output. I'm not defined by my output. I'm not defined by my output. Breathing, I'm not defined by my output. All right. Good. Okay. The next step is my rest is holy. My rest is resistant. Put it in the chat. But you know, the breathing technique prayer is back. We're gonna keep growing with that, and I think I'll add it to the memory verses that we're learning. And I think it's a good question. Thank you. All right. So the system profits off the burnout. To be real, you know, this is a survivor's wisdom and practical lessons. So the system that is already in place is profits off your burnout, because when you're burned out, there's some decisions. You just do a test, see the kind of decision, see the kind of person you are during burnout, because the system will really profits over that. You want to make some rash decision, you want to make some wild purchases just to feel better, and just because you're not doing it in the what we say in the clubs doesn't mean that you're doing it well. Remember, the foolish virgins were also virgin, but with no oil. The virgins with no oil, so you don't want to be in that category. So heaven heals, but the system profits from our burnout. You got rested, so and you don't. That's not hustle. That's hubris. And hubris is just a way for you to rely on your strength and feel like you can do it all. Everything comes from you, your strength and everything, which, you know, if you like, you can rely on your strength. It's only a matter of time. You're going to grow weak and feeble with the passage of time. You don't want to mess around and find out. You're going to heed to the wisdoms. Yeah, so a rested believer is a dangerous one. This is the best line that I got. A rested believer is a dangerous one. And what I mean by that is that his focus is full and he's full of fire. So the 3 F's for a rested believer. A rested believer is a dangerous one. His focus is filled and he's full of fire. you can be able to operate on all cylinders. You can be able to function. You can be able to have a long prayer life, a deep-rooted prayer life. That the words that are going to be coming in your mouth when you're engaging with anybody is going to fill cups up, because you're operating from a full cup that is running over. It's going to pour into the job sites and where you're going. It's going to pour into anybody that comes in contact with you, because the spirit that you're carrying is greater than anybody out there, anything out there. You can be able to make changes. So this is how we want to operate. This is the final. If you don't get anything from this stream, get this: a rested believer is a dangerous one, because he's focused, he's full, and he's full of fire. 3 F's. Yeah. These are the takeaways. The takeaway is Sabbath is identity, not performance. Sabbath boundaries are sacred. So you protect your Sabbath. Protecting your Sabbath is the way of protecting your life. Period. Rest trains trust. Rest trains trust. Rest trains the muscle memory. It trains the muscles to be able to trust God fully, that He's in control. Because these are the practical things that we have to be aware, and we have to keep learning. You remember the Hebrews 5:14? This is something us training ourselves, training our minds with, and the muscle of obedience, because obedience has a muscle that you need to be able to train and sharpen for it to be sharp. So this week, my Sabbath will be on, put the date, I want to see. And we already talked about Sunday cannot be your Sabbath because you're going to church. That is not your Sabbath. You have to choose another day to be your Sabbath, a day that you unplug from the world. And if you don't have it, it's something that you need to be aware of and know the importance of it. 2:27, the chart 2:27. Mark 2:27. Mark is a very beautiful passage that we need to say to each other. Mark 2:27. I'm on my 2:27 grind. Yeah. So join me in this prayer. Lord, teach me how to rest like you did. Not from exhaustion, but from wholeness. Heal my addiction to urgency. Let my rest be my rebellion. I choose Sabbath. I choose freedom. I choose you. In Jesus' name. Amen. Let's guide our Sabbath. Let's plan for it and let's guide it with our lives. What if, I see a question here. What if my job won't allow me a full day off? You request it, you demand it, and no apologies. Period. Because I'm telling you, that extra money is not worth your health. It's not worth your health. It's not worth your relationship with God, because you're in violation of God's law. God made the Sabbath for man, not man for the Sabbath. The Sabbath was made for you to take full advantage and rest. And rest. Part of the burnout, remember, the foolish virgins, the oil got burned out because they didn't even have extra to be able to refuel themselves. So, doesn't matter what the bill collectors or anybody is saying, you're going to be a better human with that, and you're always with God. All things are possible, and you've never seen the righteous forsaken. Let's put this, because this is Psalms 37:25. Let me see. I think this is it. Let me get it now. I've never seen the righteous forsaken or for begging for bread. That's sometimes 7:25. I have been younger, I am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken or his children begging for bread. This is part of the verse. So the person that just asked Vivian, what if my job won't allow me a full day off? You demand for it, you take it, because that extra day that you're working would not offset the bills. Forget about what they're saying. You want to be operating in the 3 F's. Because a rested believer is a dangerous one. He's focused, fueled, and full of fire. You want to be operating that time every time. Put in prayers. Choose one of the days. Oh, another question. Is Sabbath still relevant in 2025? Absolutely. This is something that is disappearing from the culture because the system is trying to swallow it. Big companies are trying to make you on that run, put you on that grind, because you are going to burn out. And if you burn out, you won't be able to be operating in full potential of what God has placed in you, or find it out. You don't have break to be able to have that communication with God. You can start having Sabbath, every day. And the Sabbath, it can be, a couple of hours. It can be a couple of minutes. Even during work, try and find Sabbath in between that. Look, it's going to take practice. It's not something that you'll be able to do it automatically. And you getting a day off, sleeping all day and waking up tired, it will not really be considered Sabbath. So you want a time, not time off, a time rest. Mark 227, be on your 227 grind, pray for it and get it done, because it's part of God's law. Use your religious freedom and religious right for it, those of you in the US. Yeah. So another question, how do I say no to people who expect me always? How do I say no to people who expect me always? I don't really understand that question, but just say no. It's going to take practice. 514, discernment. It's going to take practice. Yeah. Well, thank you for those questions. Those are really deep, thoughtful questions. I appreciate it. But remember, Sabbath in the system, rest as a rebellion. Yeah, you're a rebel. You're a rebel for a Sabbath. Put it in the chat. I'm a rebel for a Sabbath. Nothing like a Sabbath. All right, as we're coming to an end, we don't need work to prove our value. Yeah, my rest is holy. My rest is a warfare. My rest is my witness. Choose one day this week, unplug, no grind, no scroll, fully rest. Remember, when you do this rest, you have to be faithful with it. No scrolling, no grinding, nothing. Still moment with God. You can use that time to hear what the Spirit is going to say to you. So as we come to an end, so what happens when you stop trying to outrun God's rest? One thing, you become free. Freedom, the true freedom that comes from Christ Himself. You live as a miracle, not a machine. Your peace becomes your protest, and your Sabbath becomes your shout. I am no longer a slave. I am a child of God. You parted the Red Sea so that I can walk right through it. You rescued me so that I can stand and sing. And now I watch my fears drowned in your perfect love. That's the most beautiful thing that can happen to you in the Sabbath. When He parted the Red Sea so that you can walk through it. So that you can watch your fears drowned in His perfect love. He rescued you so that you can stand and sing. May your refusal to hustle be a holy revolution. May your rest be your resistance. Go, rest, and dangerous in your peace. Oh, thank you for joining us. Thank you for another day. This day 13 has been full of rest. And I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be sharing this with you. I'm happy to develop and do the research for this script. We're gonna have a full. I think I already did a holy. I did a holy hustle. Yeah, this is part of the script. Yeah, I did a holy hustle. If you're on boss part, you're gonna see the holy hustle. I did that. But I think we're gonna have part 2 because this must be part of us. This Sabbath must be part of our culture, must be part of our speech, must be part of how we build companies, must be part of how we run our daily activities and our daily affairs. That's what we want to make it be. So I'm going to definitely write a part 2 of that and just grow in this. So if the way you can help me grow is by subscribing, by liking it, by also sharing it. I'm open to feedback. Let me know what it is that we need to. I mean, yesterday was a grind, and people already reached out and talked to me, and I appreciate that. So, all right, until next time, stay faithful and stay well rested. Okay, gracias. May the grace